Hey everyone, welcome to Hatchack Studios. RT Bear here, almost 40-year veteran in this comics industry. I finally figured out the math. Yes, it's been 40 years, almost 40 years, that I have logged in this fabulous industry that we know and love, which is comic books. So we talk a lot about comic books on this show and pop culture. So we're going to get into a little bit of that in a bit. We are going to talk about Bill Burr and will he be canceled? So we're going to speculate. I'm going to get some people in here too. We're going to get some people in here, and we're going to talk about this stuff. And J.J. Abrams reboot and some of the details that have come out about that. Not a lot of details, mainly just casting, possibly a African American black man replacing. White man Clark Kent. So we may get a black Superman before it's all said and done, and possibly if we have time, we'll talk about, is her name Emilia Clarke, as being the new Mira in Aquaman 2. So I'm not really sure about that, if that's going to happen or not. So we're gonna kind of just speculate and just have a good time talking about this stuff. So let me see. Let me say good morning to everybody. Earthmind. Good morning, Art. How are you, my friend? We got Ruben in the house. Morning, Art. How are you, my friend? Unhinged Entertainment. You're always live, even a. You're always live, even a. I don't know what that means. Drop Dead. Good day, Art. Good day indeed. Let's see if there's this clarification. When I'm at work and can't watch. I think maybe. No, I still don't get it. All right. Well, I'm going to send out some invites. I got my little invite button here. I just clicked on it. Let's go here. Let's see if we can get some people in and get this party crazy, as the kids say. I don't know any kids that say that. I got all my tabs open. I got this whole thing set up, man. This is going to be crazy. This is going to be crazy. So before we get started, if you could, please give a thumbs up and possibly tweet this out. Let people know. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. I do appreciate it. So, Past Master Dan, I've decided to enter gracefully. Gracefully. No insults. No insults here. This is an insult-free zone. So, Metatron's Cube. Art is old people time. Yeah, I am in old people time for sure. Sometimes I gotta pull back and go, man, I am kind of getting old. Getting old. I'm not old. Ruben, got my Chrono book the other day. Excellent. Those books, they are still going out daily. So I think we're caught up pretty much on the orders. So if you guys have any problems, as always, just let us know, and we will do the best we can to make sure everything gets corrected. Hex Allen Comics. Hello. And he says, good morning, chat. So hold on for a sec. This is always little allergy action there. We got our first guest in the house. Hey, what's up, Andy Smith?
What's up, Art? How's it going?
Good. Is it still morning where you're at? No, you're probably in the noontime now, right?
Yeah, it's noon.
You're a nooner. This is a nooner for you. So how you?
One and only.
Yeah. How you doing?
Hanging in there. Doing good.
Good. How's First Man doing for you?
It's going good. I'm actually looking to get the files to the printer tomorrow.
Wow. You don't mess around.
No. I got I got the rest of the colors in over the weekend, And then I had one last piece to do that my writer was like, "Oh crap, we should probably do this." And I was like, "Oh, it's a good idea." So I did that and got it to the colorist and got it back on Tuesday and got all the script revisions done, or the lettering revisions done. And yeah, looking to get it to the printer tomorrow.
So who's coloring that again? I know you said, but I don't remember.
Uh, I'll mess his name up, but he helped you out on Black and White. Your first one, Perea Pillay.
Parai, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, he did the color. Excellent, excellent. He's really good.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he did the color work for Black and White Volume 1, and he did Chrono as well in a completely different style.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah,
Oh,
so
okay. That's
those guys are
cool.
pretty versatile, and he's a great guy. So the books, he's colored the whole thing already. Wow.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I started sending him pages back in January. So
Oh, so you've been working on this for a year then?
I've had it. Yeah. I started, no, January, just a few months ago, but I started working.
I always think a year ago. So just this January 2021. Okay.
Yeah, that's when I started sending him pages to color. And then I finished drawing it all before Christmas, I think, or maybe right after, in the beginning of January, I finished drawing it all. And then, I sent him pages as I was doing them and stuff.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So it's Dream Color, right? Or something like that. That's the
Something like that. Dream Color Studios, I think. That
Yes.
sounds right. Because the email is like DCS or something.
Yeah, studios, and I think there's like 3 or 4 guys that that are part of that studio, and they're all exceptionally good. There's one guy, God, I can't remember his name. I worked with him prior. It's weird that like when I found out, about Perea and the studio, I worked. Oh, I can't remember his name, but he did the Red Sonja cover I did for Dynamite Entertainment a while back. He just hit a home run, and so then the funny thing is, I contacted him to do Black and White, just him, and then it didn't work out. So then I went with Perea and DCA or DC. What is it? S. Color Studios, and I'm looking at some of these pages coming back, and I'm like, I know this guy. I know it's not Priya because like there is consistency. You know what I mean? Like, but you can kind of tell, like, especially when you're an artist, you can kind of tell there's a slight deviation from page to page. And so I'm like, I know this guy. And so then I asked Priya, and he's like, oh yeah, this is this guy. And I was like, oh my gosh, I worked with that guy on some other projects, and
I don't know any names of anybody else.
Oh, yeah.
In that studio, I know he has one, but I don't know any of the names of anybody else. And consistency wise, it's I know what you're talking about, and I think overall there might be little things I don't think anybody else could pick up on that you're like, oh, that, you know what I mean? But overall, I think the funny thing is, I've seen, because you go back and forth with revisions and stuff with them. I think the funniest thing, and this is when you can tell somebody else worked on it, is somebody's hair color will change or something like that, and you're like, well, there's no way this can't be Perea, because or whoever did the previous page, because they would know.
Exactly. And sometimes there's just like, there's not even stuff that's that obvious, but it's just like little stylistic things. You know what I mean? That you see and you go, well, that guy on this page didn't do this. And then you see consistency as the pages come in. And then you notice that there's one type of coloring that keeps coming in that has similarities. And then you're like, I think that's a different guy than this guy.
Yeah.
But like I said, like you can't even tell. You can't even tell. They're pretty seamless with working with the different people. But I think there's at least 4 guys, like 3 main guys and maybe a flatter that works at that studio. But they do great work, and they're going to be doing Black and White Volume 2 as well. So
now, when he sends you the pages, like when I ask him to send me the final pages, I tell him to send me the layered files so I can go in and make tweaks easy if I need to. Do you do that as well, or?
Yeah, I kind of bring things on model, so I don't like to. I do, yes, I do.
Yeah, I mean that's like I went through literally all. So in First Man, it's 58 pages of story, and then there's the 5 Marvel Universe type bio pages, and then there's the origin page to make it the 64-page book. And once all the files were in, I went through starting on page 1, opening them all up, and the layered files, and I would go through and be like, oh, this could use a stronger special effect here, or tweak this a little bit here. And I did it over the course of like just a couple days. Yeah. And there wasn't a ton to do, but it's just stuff that he sends the JPEG, and you know how it is. You get the JPEG, and if it's something major or something you can easily explain to revise, you do. But if it's something just subtle, I'm like, I'll just make a note and I'll just fix it, do it myself.
Yeah, that's what I do as well. Yeah, it's just easier than, and also I think there's a time lag. So I think there's a day difference.
Oh yeah, well he's in India.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think I did look at one point to see what the time difference is, but I know, for instance, I'll get emails from them with pages at like, they're time dated 2 a.m. And I don't see them till like 7 o'clock in the morning. And usually, if I get back to him around 7 or so in the morning, our time, he'll get back to me. But I find anytime after noon, 12 noon, forget it. I don't hear from him until the next day. So that must be into the night or something over there.
Yeah, I'm a morning guy. I like to take care of all my notes and stuff in the morning, and I think they're more evening time, like late in the evening. Well, let's introduce our next guest. I have not live streamed with the Vonster in too long, my friend. How are you, my friend?
I'm living life, man. I'm shipping books and living life and getting over some broken ribs. So it's been something else. Yeah. Right before I started shipping too. So it's been a process. I helped a lady with her car, and I pulled on something way too hard, and I broke myself, actually. Yeah, a lot of glasses of milk now in my life happening. Yeah. So kind of embarrassing. But no, but I kept going until her stuff was fixed, but I did not know my ribs were broken. I thought I just pulled something. And then I went to the doctor because it was hurting, and he was like, yeah, that's 3 broken ribs, dude. You need to sit this one out.
Wow.
So good deed, right? No good deed. So there's nothing they can do, right?
Right.
They just wrap you.
Actually, they don't even do that anymore. Yeah. That can cause pneumonia because it keeps your lungs from expanding enough with the wrap. So they just send you home and just say, here's some heroin or whatever, or some Oxycontin. Enjoy your stay in bed.
Wow.
Now poor Von Klaus is a junkie. He's shooting up.
Now I'm a junkie, but I'm an artist junkie. Woo! Buy my book. I need more drug monies. I got totally over the pain pills, man. I'm not using them anymore. I moved on. Feel good. Yeah. Feeling better. Healed.
Good. I'm glad that you're doing good. And if people in the chat don't know, Von Klaus is the writer creator of Monster MD, which is a kick-ass book. I enjoy the concept, the artwork, the whole presentation is just brilliant. I really enjoy it. Yeah. So you're shipping now?
Sure am. I am.
How far are you with fulfillment?
I would say we're like 1/3 in. A lot of days it's just me slowly moving with my broken self, like packaging books slowly, Other days I got my mom helping and we get a whole lot done. So it's, ebb and flow, man. And I'm loving it. I actually really like shipping. Getting those books out is an amazing feeling, man. And when people get them and love them, That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, there's a lot of lifting too. So I hope your mom's been working out because those boxes are freaking heavy, especially those the Gemini mailer boxes. Like you got to have a dolly for those. Yeah.
Yeah. They're so good. They're so sturdy, and you feel like you're getting your stuff safe. So man. Easy to fold.
I just got a delivery on Friday, I think, last week of 450 of those bad boys. So
I got the pallet special. You get 3,000 or no, almost 3,000 of them for a cheaper rate if you do the pallet. So I've got a pallet in my garage of them. Yeah.
So how many boxes? I don't know by pallet, but I know box.
By pallet, it's like 2,785 or some number like that. Like it's close to that.
But how many boxes?
Because when I got 450, I got 3 boxes. So each box had 150.
Well, there was 0 boxes. It was a pallet full of mailers.
Really?
Also, they didn't box the mailers. They just put the mailers on the pallet and then just strap them down. Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they came okay. The condition was all right. So
yeah, so you maybe that's like less money or something like that, because I did like Andy. I got the boxes, and I'm glad I did, because when we moved to Texas, they were easier to move than a bunch of individual, like mailers, kind of thing, on a pallet. Right. So we you're gonna love this, Von Klaus. We have now in the new house, we have a fulfillment center upstairs, and that's for like all the like actual put the books in the plastic, all the critical items, everything like that. So we have like shelves, like a perimeter, and then we have one of those Craftsman tool chests kind of thing in the center, so we can kind of assemble. So we can bring things from the side, assemble them in the center, and then we have the main stock down in the garage. So that's where all the heavier stuff is and things like that. So we're kind of trying to work out this whole fulfillment thing to be more, because at the old house, the California house, the whole downstairs, every room had like, okay, this is where the Gemini mailers are. This is where the trading cards are. This is where. So we'd be eating while we're packing stuff, and things like that. Yeah. It was like all over the place. So we're trying to actually, put some, method to the madness kind of idea. Right. So, I
live in a smaller house in Oklahoma, so my whole living room is a fulfillment center right now. Like there's boxes everywhere. Yeah.
Exactly. This house will not be, well, it will actually. Who am I kidding? It will be overrun with fulfillment soon for Black and White too. But I want to talk to you guys about this Bill Burr thing. And I know that people have covered it already, but I thought what might be more interesting. And then I want to get into the J.J. Abrams, Superman casting, things like that. But I want to get into Bill Burr first and see what you guys think. Do you think he will be canceled? And if so, how do you think it will come about? Because I think it's pretty much common knowledge now that in a way he defended Gina Carano. And just as simple as that in this day and age, especially in Hollywood, can get you canceled because it goes against basically their narrative. They want ultimate support and everybody to bow down to their belief system. And if you don't, then you're crucified. So he hasn't even made a stand against their policies or their beliefs. He just said that Gina Carano was, a decent person and that he thought she was a good person. And then they go into like the cancel thing and how easily you can be canceled today for basically next to nothing. So what are you guys' thoughts about Bill Burr?
I mean, his stand-up is awesome. And I think part of it with Bill Burr is he gets away. I shouldn't even say he gets away, because I love his stand-up stuff. But his stand-up stuff is so like anti what Disney says, I guess, that I don't know if he will be from Star Wars, because they kind of knew what they were getting when they hired him, going by his stand-up act. And stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
and I read a transcript of some of the stuff he said on his podcast, and he did. He just said, look, she's a really nice fucking person, and she's awesome, and that's what most people that know her say. So
yeah. A lot of people are criticizing cancel culture, and for him to do it too, I don't think will get him canceled, but he's definitely on the list. They've probably had their sights on him well before Gina Carano. He's a controversial comedian, but he's also one of the more popular comedians right now. I mean, this guy sells out wherever he goes. I've seen him do stand-up where he decided to throw out his act and just diss on the people of the city he was in. I think he was in like Philly or something. And he just goes off on them for being jerks at his show for like 20 minutes. And I mean, he didn't get canceled. He just, he confronts people all the time. He's a controversial guy. If you try to cancel him, man, is his mouth going to go off on you. And it's going to be, be hilarious. It'd be amazing.
The thing about Bill Burr, though, is that, he's got that F, for family, and he's got some other, things like possibly this character in Star Wars, it might be reoccurring, or, they might want to revisit it, things like that. So I don't know how many things he's got going in Hollywood. So I think his stand-up is immune. Like, I think there's two sides to Burr. Right. The stand-up side that I think he's immune to, like that platform, unless he's going to go play colleges, which those guys don't do it.
Not happening.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Just stay away from that platform. But as long as on his turf, I think he'll be okay. But he is playing, in the Hollywood sandbox, like with F for Family. And then I know he's got some other things going. And I believe that his wife is behind the scenes, like either she writes or whatever as well. So, I do know when you work for companies like, when I was working for Marvel, things like that you kind of you don't say exactly what you want to. And I know Andy is coming completely off. Like, he's saying everything he's felt for the last, 30 years or whatever, because, Andy's kind of got a little cocoon now with Comicsgate, but I know how it is. So do you think that, they'll attack him possibly through those shows?
I mean, it's possible for them to hurt his business.
Yeah, I think, like you said, with his stand-up, I think his stand-up is untouchable with his fan base and with his bookers and stuff like that. They know what they're getting. So I think with Bill, obviously all speculation, but I think with him it was, I can continue doing stand-up and make a great living, or I can try to venture out into the Hollywood acting stuff and try and broaden out. But I think if for some reason the Hollywood stuff just totally went away, he'd just be like, great, I'll just do stand-up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Louis C.K. still does stand-up, and he did something actually bad.
Yeah, he did. And a lot of people have forgiven that guy, but I don't know. I don't know what Louis C.K.'s politics are. Like, is he on that side? Because we also know that there is a complete double standard. So if you are in lockstep agreement with them, or at least on the surface, you know what I'm talking about, right, left, politically speaking, then you're kind of immune, because Pedro Pascal, there's obviously double standards. So he has said stuff that was completely not even true, with his photographs and stuff like that. And I don't want to get too much into detail, but I think most people know what I'm talking about. So nothing, like Disney didn't come down on him. They didn't cancel him, but they did Gina Carano. So there is like a really weird double standard there. So I think it still will come down to, I don't know, will Bill Burr, will they force him to bend a knee? Will he have to, come clean and denounce so he can keep these things going? Will he have to, is he Republican? Is he Democrat? I don't know,
Yeah.
Try to cancel me. Try to cancel me. That's what he'd say. Come on.
Come on.
Bring it on.
Come on, bring it on.
I love that guy.
Yeah, I love his podcast too. Do you guys listen to his podcast?
No,
Call
I
him a
actually
racist.
don't.
I dare you. I love his podcast. I've listened to it a few times. It's great. He's married to a black woman.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
you know, try to cancel him. Try to call him a racist.
Yeah, Nia is. Hey, Vaughn, don't. They will try. But
They
Nia
will. They
is
would.
the character on that podcast, and she is freaking hilarious.
She's funny.
Yeah, the way they play off of each other is absolutely hilarious. So yeah, I think they're charming, they're edgy, but you can tell they love each other. It's just a great relationship. And you know, like what we're doing right now, you can't hide. Like if shit hits the fan, it's going to hit the fan. There's nothing we can do about it, you know, because it's live. And that show is the same. So I do enjoy that. So I guess you know, like putting it into a nice little package and putting a bow on it. So we're all kind of in agreement that Bill Burr's stand-up is probably immune unless he's going to try to do colleges or stuff like that. But
if I were a comedian, I would do a tour of only colleges right now. You know how much free publicity you'd get from them getting pissed off everywhere you go? It'd be amazing.
But what was Adam Carolla? Adam Carolla tried to do like a tour. Well, one, he was trying to do his thing, and then he tried to do it with what is the conservative guy?
Prager?
Dennis Prager, yeah.
Prager.
Oh my gosh, the shit hit the fan.
Well, did you see the movie No Safe Spaces they did?
Yeah, it's pretty right on.
Oh, it's dead on. It's dead on.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Huh, I never saw that one.
Oh,
yeah,
it's worth it.
Do yourself a favor.
It's worth it.
Yeah, and Vaughn, have you seen? There's a documentary, and I'm gonna butcher this. It's a college called Green something, and they completely canceled the school.
Greenview or whatever, where they kind of where they kind of there was like a hostage crisis of SJWs taking over the school.
Yeah, they basically they barricaded themselves into the school with the teachers, and they somewhat held some of the teachers hostage.
Yeah. And then like had them order pizza and stuff. Like they didn't know what to do once they took it over. They were like, pizza.
That's
pizza.
in safe spaces. There's a little section there in safe spaces, and that guy now who was basically crucified in that documentary. It was all filmed. It's all you know.
Well, yeah, that's the one where isn't that the school where the black students all said, you know, no
evergreen
white people come to school today, none. Zero, none. And then the professor you're talking about was like, no, I'm going to go do my job.
Yeah.
And he showed up, and then, and him and his wife basically and he's a Democrat, he's a liberal, and he basically got crucified for it, and they lost their jobs or they quit. I can't remember if they lost them or they quit.
I think they quit.
I think they both quit.
Yeah, I think they both quit. Yeah, they quit. And then, I mean, they've gone on, obviously survived it and stuff, because of the notoriety they got from doing, you know.
Well, now they're going to the Senate. They're going and they're doing these tours and stuff like that. And they're basically trying to tell people this is what is going to happen nationwide. This is a microcosm for what is going to happen. That was basically just a cautionary tale, and very few people even know about it. I mean, I think the media has done a great job of just silencing this whole story. But you know, he, like you said, Andy, he fits all of the check marks of like what they want, but he crossed them because it's not just about fulfilling what they want. It's about doing it exactly the way they want. And the problem with that is it changes all the time. So what do you want? I don't know what the fuck you want. You know what I mean? There's no guideline. Yeah, it just keeps changing at their will. So they can turn on a dime and crucify you. And this is, you know what, how that saying goes, they'll eat their own. They ate their own, man. That guy was as liberal as you could get. Oh, yeah. When he's talking, you're just like, he gave them the benefit of the doubt, like time and time again, his students, and they effed him over
Yeah.
Every time. You talk about turning the cheek, man.
Yep.
Oh, you check your privilege and everything, and they just keep gnawing away at you because it becomes hysteria. I mean, when I watch the Evergreen videos, which you can see them all on YouTube, like hours and hours of the whole thing going down, it is horrific.
Yeah.
And they have some nice ones where they're edited, so you can just get to the juicy parts of just pure insanity. But I mean, that was a bunch of people running on hysteria, and they weren't going to. You don't listen. You don't, you're just caught up in this neurotic moment of it all, and there is no solution. There is no way to appease it. I guess the angry peasants or angry students in this case with pitchforks, like there's no way to appease them,
Yeah, I actually heard this guy talking about the slippery slope argument. I'm old enough now that I actually accept the slippery slope argument. When I was younger, I was like, "You're full of shit, old man."
Slippery shit, more like.
Yeah. And so now I'm like slippery slope because this guy went all the way back to kind of like the hippie movement, like in the 60s, right? And so like I've always been like, I think there always just needs balance. There needs to be like this side and then this side. And as long as we can stay open to it and not, like shut the other one down, then we can come to an understanding. So I just want to be clear on my point of view with this, but he was saying that with the peace, love, and understanding movement, there was no, because this is what Vaughn was saying, this is what got me thinking this way, is that there's no solution. They just like with peace, love, and whatever, like, flower power, all this stuff, that they were going to conquer the evils of the world. But that's not really a solution. That's more like how you feel about these things. And so then if you start going through like contemporary time, you see how that kind of mindset, because now these people are in power. They're not kids anymore. They're actually calling the shots. So this guy was able to like connect all these dots and get us to this point in time. And so what he was saying is that it's a continuation, but at the same time, it's still the same mindset where they don't have a clear solution. There is no solution. It's just cancel and then the knee until they get what they want, but they're still not even really clear about what they want. They want fair and equitable, but what is fair and equitable?
Right.
Without guidelines, without, I already thought the Constitution and the laws and the Bill of Rights and everything that we had was an equitable contract. I already thought we had those things, But
I always look at their ideology as shiny wrapping paper to look nice and have the words equity and inclusion and whatever, things that we're all pretty much for as just like normal red-blooded Americans. But it's really just destruction in the end. It's division. It's about dissolving things up and breaking things down. And in the end, they'll create these problems and then say, yeah, but if you give us the power, we'll take care of those problems for you. That's all you have to do is put us in authority positions we would otherwise never be in.
Right. And their answer is just to tax the shit out of you and then create social programs. But these social programs have also proven not to work. You know what I mean? Like in a way, it's contemporary slavery, for not only the black man, but just every paying, person in the world. Because, I even look at credit cards as a form of like financial slavery, like, with these interest rates and stuff like that, they're not even fair. You talk about if we're going to do battle, 20% interest, 25%, and sometimes 30% interest, that's $30 per 100 you spend. And then it compounds, monthly. That's a grave that you're digging, and you can get 6 feet under quick.
Oh yeah, you still bookie.
Yeah. Exactly. So you think Bill Burr is okay with Hollywood, or do you think they're going to at least try to silence him or bury him?
God, the guy, he creates jobs. He makes shows. I feel like if they tried anything, he'd be like, go ahead, try. And if they were able to achieve anything, he'd be like, well, I can just go and do comedy and you can't touch me. Like, I feel like he's a little safe, actually.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's kind of like Comicsgate, where there's a haven independent of the industry itself. It's an industry that is unto itself. So it is, in a way, untouchable. So I do think that also I've heard a lot of YouTubers and people speculate that this is probably going to be the way of conducting business if you don't bend the knee to the corporate structures, Disney, Warner Brothers, these companies. So there are going to be a lot more independent comic books, a lot of more independent publishing, independent film, all kinds of things. And we're only seeing that now. Yeah, exactly.
Let's have a rebellious renaissance. Let's do it. I'm down. I've already started mine.
Monster MD.
But it's not. But at the same time, my own mother and father, who are a little older, a little out of the loop, they know about Gina Carano. They know the term cancel culture. They're dropping the term all the time now. That's when you start seeing the general public understand this stuff more. I don't see it as something that's going to be business as usual or the way they do things. I see it as something that people start rebelling against more. And speaking, and they'll have to actually just lighten the hell up, at least if they want to keep making money. I mean, Disney's already had to close tons of stores recently and retool their products because they're not selling as much anymore. So
they're not selling any
have to shift.
Cartoon. They're not selling
cartoon
action figures.
That's for sure.
Who does that, right? Like, you know what? We're gonna take this product off the shelf, so we can't make money. Oh, well, congratulations.
We live in a weird era where we protest nothing, and people assure us that cancel culture doesn't exist. And then now those same people are explaining to us why it's a good thing. I'm just like going, geez, this is insane.
Well, who loses in the long run? Okay, they lose a bankable character that spent a year, building. That's not easy to do, and then to create something that resonates and connects with an audience, which she did. The action figure and all the marketing was doing fairly well. So what do? We cancel it. So in a way, they're canceling their own IP because that's a character that they own. Cara Dune is their IP. They can't
over her calling for political unity. Oh no, how abhorrent. How horrifying.
They're cutting their nose off to spite their face.
Exactly. Yeah. So I guess there's been a lot of speculation that in time, if it's gonna really start hurting their bottom line financially, then maybe they'll change. But we haven't really seen that to be the case yet.
Well, yeah. I mean, I know they did lose some Disney Plus over the whole thing.
Yeah.
But
exactly. Well, do you guys want to get into the J.J. Abrams new Superman stuff? Yeah.
Definitely.
I can tell by your enthusiasm.
Yeah. It's just all so tiring though, Art. I mean, everything's like being done as like a fad instead of just being a good idea. You know what I mean? It feels like JJ walked into a room and was just like, Black Lives Matter. It's everywhere. Like, we got to do Black Superman now. Now's the time. That's it. I don't think they came up with some great story or great idea for him being, you know what I mean? It's all racial politics. And so I don't think anyone can really, I don't even know if it'll get made. It feels weird. Like it won't really happen. They're just kind of putting this out just to see like how people's reaction is to it.
As far as the Black Superman, and then there's even some casting. And I just want to be clear, like they can do whatever they want. They own it. Warner Brothers owns these characters. They can do whatever they want. The thing is, I don't have to be 100% happy. And I'm the kind of guy that I'll just wait and see what it's like. You know what I mean? And then I'll judge it based on its own merits. But at this point, J.J. Abrams, his wife, is like the YouTube movement. I can't even say that. Like isn't she like the one that like is in charge or created that? So they're clearly like what Vaughn was saying. Like it's not about creating something based on a merit. Like this is an idea that will work, and he just happens to be Black, or he just happens to be whatever it is. You know what I mean? But it's not like the selling point. It's not like, how are we going to sell this? Well, we'll get some virtue points, and we'll say that he's going to be.
Yeah, it's just pandering. It's just
J.J. Abrams is one of the most lucky hacks I think I've ever seen rise in Hollywood. He's like Spielberg level power with none of the talent, in my opinion. Like, right. I don't think he's a particularly good writer. His whole mystery box method absolutely just drives me nuts as a writer. I hate it so much. If you don't know what that is, that's where there's just something mysteriously in the movie suddenly for no good reason. It's supposed to intrigue you. Sometimes it's found in a box, like a lightsaber found in a basement in a box. And it's his mystery box method that's supposed to keep you engaged. I just think that's so fast food writing, cheap. But like as a visionary too, I find him very I just find him very dull and just kind of like a corporate man. You know what I mean? And his company, what is it? Something Robot?
Bad Robot.
Bad Robot teaches weird far left anti-whiteness stuff, like that creepy identity politics stuff to all its employees. And I've just really not liked him for a while. So every time he announces something like this, it's not even necessarily the project just doesn't even sound like a story as much as it is just Black Superman. Now's the time, you know. But when it's J.J. Abrams, I cringe a little more. You know, I'm just
right.
I'm not a fan.
You don't have a lot of hope for it. And the thing is, I do think that time is going to look back at this and go, like that J.J. Abrams is in his mystery box. He will be everything that was wrong with this moment in time, because it's all superficial and nostalgia. Like all he's doing is going, remember this?
Yeah.
Remember
wink,
this?
wink.
Remember this? If you look at almost the way a lot of, well, not everything, but a lot of things are sold these days, it's not like, oh, that's a cool new idea. Let's try something unique. It's like, let's try to tie it into something that is like this, or something that's completely rebranded that is that, you know, like, oh, we'll do Ghostbusters, or we're going to do, you know, like another, you know, Predator movie or whatever. And then all they're trying to do is go, remember when this was cool? Well, we're going to bring it back, and it's not going to be as cool. You know?
Yeah, and they figure out a way to make it not cool every time.
Yeah, Terminator, holy shit, man! That franchise somebody should put it out of its misery.
Oh, yeah. Oh God, they put the final nail in the coffin for me on that with that last movie, man. I've been trying to figure out how, like, we're living in this time where a regular guy can buy a high definition camera and can get nice lighting and like make movies in his house and make millions of dollars off of that, and yet and on original ideas. And Hollywood is somehow scared to do those original ideas, because movies cost more than ever now. They make less movies per year. So they go with what they think is safe, which is, oh, it's another Ghostbusters movie, but this time it's with the chicks, because I heard feminism was so in. Who told you that? Some feminists. Oh, okay. I'm sure it's on the up and up. No, like the new ideas are there, or like fresh, cool ideas are there. They're just not willing to take the risk to do them enough. And yet, at the same time, another weird thing is television is in this like new golden age of all these awesome shows and more content than anyone can handle, and high production on the shows. And those have original ideas that are really, you know, that are fun and interesting a lot of times. So it's weird. It's sad that movies have gone the way of the dodo in a weird way, you know?
Yeah. And the thing is that it's very short-sighted for them, because the only way they're going to make the next Ghostbusters is to take a chance on something in the here and now. You know what I mean? Like somebody took a chance on that IP, you know, 30 years ago or whatever it was, and then they're still reaping the rewards of it. But if no one's willing to take a chance on something new, then what are they going to recycle? The recycled ideas that are happening right now? You know what I mean?
What are they on, like their fourth or fifth Fantastic Four attempt at a movie? I mean,
reboots of reboots of reboots, and now, you know, Superman, the newest reboot. It's like you have an actor, you have Henry
Cavill.
Yeah, and you have him willing to do it. People love him as Superman. They don't love the movies that he's in. They don't love the story, but they love him as Superman. So you've already branded. Superman. You already did like a lot of the heavy lifting you've done. Write a freaking cool movie for the guy to be in. That's all the fuck you have to do.
I think it coincides with something I see going on in our culture right now, which is people don't know how to tell stories anymore like they used to. When you would watch a movie in the 80s and not even the 90s, and even if it was bad, it would still have like a solid 3-act structure usually. Like we don't even do that anymore. Yeah. We've forgotten how, but that was before I got into Comics Gate, I was going to be a writing professor and try to teach kids like, this is how you really do it, try to because I thought that would make the world better or whatever back then. Then I realized I'd be canceled in about half a minute working for a college.
I figured it out because I was the same way. I had the same question. Is what I believe it is it's contempt. They want to attach it to the past because they know it has market value, but there's contempt for it at the same time. So they're like, we're not going to do the cliches. Like they figured this and this and this is cliche. Like 3-act, that's cliche. Solid storytelling, whatever. That's been time and time again proven. No, screw that. So they want to feel like they're reinventing the wheel with an old IP. You know what I mean? Like they're not even like.
Oh yeah.
They're not even completely down with their own idea. Case in point, why turn Superman black? Just make another Superman, which you have done. There's a character called Steel.
Yep.
He exists. Right. You've already branded him. He's already had his own movie. If you want to do the black Superman, he already exists, J.J. Abrams.
He's ready.
Right, and you can do that in the same DCEU, DC universe. Whereas if they do the J.J. Abrams thing, you're totally destroying what DC was trying to catch up to Marvel, and you're literally just going to blow it up.
Right.
Now if they bring him into the DCEU with Henry Cavill and do a multiverse thing, and bring him from another universe, okay. Because they already have that as well in the DC comics.
Yep.
They've got so many universes and stuff with so many iterations of Superman that they could do that. And they could establish the whole multiverse.
But what sucks about it is that for the first time, Superman feels like it's just not being done for me. It's being done for someone else. You know what I mean? When he's supposed to be for everybody.
Well,
he's supposed to be.
Yeah, here's the new black Superman. Can you see this?
Oh, wow.
Rolling down the beach. I feel safer already. Well, there we go.
Oh, that is hot.
Okay, I know this guy actually.
Oh yeah?
No way.
Yeah, his name's Duvall Stowers, and he was a mainstay at the local cons here. Well, not here anymore, but in California when I lived in California. And so when I was coming up the ranks, this guy was he was an artist. He's an artist as well. So he would draw these pages and all this stuff. And I thought he was professional because I didn't know any better because, I wasn't working in the industry. And he'd tell me all these stories about like, he's doing this black Superman story, character designs, all this stuff. And Dick Giordano over at DC has okayed it and is going to ink him because this was the days of Neil Adams. So he drew in kind of a pseudo Neil Adams style. And so then, you see over a course of years that he's not progressing. I'm in the industry working professionally. And so then all of a sudden the rose-colored glasses are off and I see this guy for what he really is. He's nuts.
He's an eccentric weirdo.
Yeah. So then over the years, he started dressing up like his character. So then this is Duvall Stowers as the Black Superman. And when I was looking for this work, This Goes Sad, he's a good guy. He's a fun guy. He's a harmless guy. I always liked him. So I just want to clarify, there was never any hate. It's just one of those fun, comic book convention things. Oh, there's Duvall on roller skates dressed like Superman. It's just one of those things. It's the color, adding some color to the con. And so I don't mean that in a racial way. I mean that in color.
I knew that.
Yeah, but some people, Vaughn, I'm telling you.
So did his work on Black Superman? Did he get to do anything with it, or was it just
it was totally
lost to the ages?
It was all in his head. He was totally.
It was all in his head. Wow.
Yeah, and so when I was finding these photos of him, Also, the National Enquirer did an article on him, and he was like kind of a minor celebrity in the day. When I was doing the research, you guys, this is gonna go sad. I found his obituary.
No,
he died a couple years ago. Yeah.
Oh.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, Duvall
did he just call his character Black Superman, or did he have a different name for him?
No, it was just Black Superman. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing too is with bringing in Black Superman, like I said, you brought up they already have Steel, which is a great example. But it's the same thing. Like, they're saying that if they ever bring Green Lantern back, they would probably use Jon Stewart on the big screen for diversity, which is fine. He's an established character.
He's a great character.
They're not saying, oh, we need a Black Green Lantern, let's make Hal Jordan black. They're using an established character, and they have Steel, and he wears an S and everything. And it's not like it's beyond the realm of DC, Marvel, anybody making a live action movie to go, let's change the costume. So it's not like they have to do Steel like they did with Shaq in the big metal suit. They could still call him Steel and put him in more of a classic Superman suit that people recognize. And his name in the comics was John Henry, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was John Henry something. Was it
right?
John Henry Steele or something? I forget what his full name.
I can't remember, but they could point is they could bring that character in, and
if they had faith in their IP and they actually had some guts, because the thing is, that's the problem. It doesn't take any imagination to gender swap or racial swap, but it gets headlines. It's a cheap way to get headlines. Because I think nobody here, nobody in the chat, and I guarantee you, humanity does not have a problem with diversity. They want the world to be as diverse as it can be. They want representation. I don't know anybody I've never met in the past, and I can honestly say that has ever went, you know what? I'm just tired of all these Hispanics, in the world, or all these Asian people. I've never heard anybody say that. But at the same time, I never heard anybody really say there needs to be more. I just think it was happening organically. I think people just realized, well, if I'm going to draw a street scene in a comic book, I'm going to show a wide variety of types of people. One, it's more fun to draw, and two, it makes things more interesting to look at. It's just interesting. All these different nationalities, all these different countries, these different places. It all makes the world more fucking interesting. It doesn't make it worse. And I've never met any of these people that they're saying exist. They say these people exist. I've never met one of them.
Well, you remember when I think it was Dunkirk, when that came out, and it was a World War II movie, right? Christopher Nolan, I believe, and people were complaining about the lack of diversity in the cast of Dunkirk. And you're like, it's a freaking WW2 movie. I believe it
in
was
Europe.
Stuff. This is just how it was. You can't change. You can't change it if it's not how it was historically.
Because there is one group saying there needs to be less of another group, and that is whoever's pushing diversity. They cannot handle white people. If there's always too many of us. I don't know what the right number is, but they always just go, nah, too many. It's to me, natural diversity. I mean, it's part of our planet, the plants, the animals, everything. It's part of being a human being. It's part of our experience. Their diversity is just them co-opting the name diversity to basically usher in a new age of discrimination. I mean, that's all I think it's really doing.
It's the exact opposite of what they're saying. It's like, that word hypocritical is so right on. Like, they say one thing and then they do another. Like they preach tolerance, but only as far as if it fits in all their categories, then they'll tolerate it. But if it veers even a little bit, they will knock you back either into the column, or they'll just completely cancel you. And this is more of complete conformity. This is not about freedom. This is not about diversity. This is about selling a fucking agenda to to what? Like, this is so scary.
Well, it's to destruction, but they don't think it is. They foolishly believe it's to a better world. And that's why they do it. And that's why they're so passionate, not realizing it's destructive. And then when we call them out on that destruction, they're like, oh, you just don't like me because of my identity, because I'm a girl or I'm black or whatever. And we're like, no. Leave all that out. What you're doing is hurting. That's why we're speaking out. Your actions. That's what we're criticizing here. We are not talking about who JJ hired to pin Black Superman. We don't have a title, so it's Black Superman is what that movie's called right now. Ta-Nehisi Coates, who also, like, that's a big statement. That's a big thing for him to propose. That guy, he's written for Marvel. Nobody seems to like his stuff, or it doesn't resonate. It's more just political messaging that agitates readers, and he writes books that have a lot of controversial stuff, but he basically gives speeches telling a whole auditorium full of guilty liberal people, like how they can better not be racist, or that they are racist and how they can be better evil racists. So that's something else to have. To me, when you hear that guy talk, he hates white people, man. He does not, he does not like us. And I'm just going, how can someone with that much hatred in his heart for his fellow man write something like Superman?
Well, the thing was, didn't he have the 9/11 quote? And doesn't is he the reparations guy? Like, he believes that should be reparations for Black people. And I'm just going to say this about the reparations thing. My parents did not own slaves. My parents' parents did not own slaves, and so on. In my lineage, there is not one T-Bear that's ever owned, as far as I know, has ever owned a slave. So if I'm paying reparations, I committed no crime. My family has committed no crime. Right. So if you're going to have reparations and be equitable and fair, you have to just go family lineages that did this. But having said that, even that isn't right, because that person did not do it. Like, you're holding accountable for what you think is a crime that was never ever committed. It doesn't exist. Most people their families never owned slaves, and even people that may have, they didn't. It was generations ago. So at some point,
if you're related to, if someone's related to Ted Bundy, should they be looked at in the same light as Ted Bundy?
No. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to hold a generation, a current generation, accountable for a way past generation's faux pas, which was also righted. That's the thing too. The same people fought against it, fought and died. Bloody war. Civil war actually scares me almost more than a world war, because it's happening around you. It's brother against brother. It's families being split up. It's some scary ass shit. So I don't. It doesn't really work for me. So as soon as I hear somebody saying fair and equitable, and then they use the word reparations, I don't think you're being fair and equitable, because you're holding me and people like me accountable for something that I never did. It's a crime, like you said, Andy. It's a crime that was never committed by anybody that's even alive today. Like, I don't think there's anybody on the face. One, I don't think there's anybody that was on either side of it, slaves or slave owners, that are even alive today. So at some point, don't we have to move forward?
Yes. Most def. Move forward, man. That Ta-Nehisi Coates comes after my hometown a lot, Tulsa. We had a horrible race riot here about 100 years ago.
Oh, right.
And to this day, they're still looking for bodies. They want to find bodies in a mass grave to drudge back up the racism of the past and everything. That was a horrible event, and it's a blemish, but the things they're doing now to fix it, they're not helping. Looking for those bodies to drudge that up again isn't helping. Renaming the street where like stuff went down, Reconciliation Way. Oh, I'm sure everything's reconciled now. Like, we should have, moving on with it would help. And understanding it and teaching it for what happened and how it was wrong would help. But instead, for years, we didn't talk about it in Tulsa. These days, now that the activists are, you know, getting those positions and they're here to help or whatever, and people are becoming more, or leftists are becoming more radical and kind of going along with that. It's, you know, it's a commonly discussed thing. You saw it at the beginning of the Watchmen TV show on HBO. It opens with the Tulsa race riots, and it unfortunately shows Ta-Nehisi Coates' myth that he put in. Well, a lot of people have put it in other than him, that people were flying over this poor black part of the city and dropping firebombs on them, and that never happened. But a lot of people believe it did. You know, it's something else, man.
Yeah, it all empowers a certain group of people. These things only work, like, you know, it empowers him, that Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Yes.
It gives him a voice. It gives him a platform. It gives him importance. You know what I mean? So the greater good is not being served by you doing this. It's actually like you were saying, the reason they were looking for those bodies, Vaughn, is because if they had a visual to go with the headline, holy shit, emotional. Oh, yeah. They all of a sudden they have emotional context, and they can manipulate you with your feelings, which is pretty much what they do in general. And that alone is pretty manipulative and disgusting. Anybody that's going to manipulate somebody based on how they feel is, and also you can't legislate feelings. So it's a really wrong way to go. You can't create law and rules and regulations based on how you feel, because everybody feels different, you know, about everything.
Well, and just, you know, look, I mean, you're totally right. And it's all in the language they use too. I mean, you know, 2 years ago, it was kids in cages, which evokes a feeling, right? Now it's detention centers. You know?
Yeah.
And they totally changed the language, but it's the same thing.
Yeah. They've been masters at language manipulation for a long time. They learned they had to do that because, I mean, I look at them as dishonest. I mean, it's a lie upon a lie upon a lie a lot of times. So,
well, you know, when I learned all this stuff is when I started dating women. And I'm sorry, it's gonna sound a little sexist, but I know we've all been in this situation where
before you started dating women, when you were dating men, you didn't know any of that stuff.
Dating women, what I meant,
I switched over
when I was a kid, young, and then I started dating women. Okay.
And then what happened, Art?
What happened? Well, what you find out is that they argue based on feelings. So. When you bring logic and you bring, you know, reason to a discussion, they, just to win, because this is about winning and losing. That's what these things are about. These are power struggles. Oh, yeah. We need to understand these. These are fundamental power struggles, but they're okay. They're okay, right? Just mutual respect. We'll make it through. But when you know this, but when you're young, you don't know this. They start arguing their feelings. And then you go, yeah, but what about this fact? What about this? It's like, but this is how I feel, right? This is how I feel. And then the more you push, the more a-hole you are. And then they'll cry because you're pushing the point and you're hurting their feelings, right? Mm-hmm. So then what do most people do? They let it go. They hug their girlfriend or their wife, and they go, it's okay, I understand. No problem, no harm, no foul. And then you move on, right? Because that's the only solution. Because if you keep going, you're going to be a complete a-hole, and either that girl's going to break up with you or divorce you. And that's what they do. They argue their feelings. You can't argue feelings. You can't do that because feeling isn't logic. Feeling has no basis in any of that stuff. So you can't legislate feelings. You can't argue against it. And that's what the left has figured out. The SJW arguments are based on feelings. So as soon as you start arguing against it, you're a racist, you're a phobe, you're an ist, you're whatever it is. And so then they call you out, and then it's done. Because you can't double down on it, because if you do, then you're going to look like more of an insensitive ist and phobe.
Yeah. Before I was allowed to graduate film school, I had to take a final class It was the only class I had to take that was required for me to graduate, and it was all about SJW style approaches to things and messaging and the ideology being put into our media. And I faked my way through. I knew it was all horse shit, and I got through. But I got to tell you, there were a lot of kids who I could tell had drank the Kool-Aid by the time they left that class with me, and they go into media jobs and they bring that ideology and that idea of messaging with them. And that's what I think is going on with J.J. Abrams' thing. Of course, everyone wants it to be this guy. I'm tired of seeing him. I get sick of actors real quick, and I get like, he's in everything now. He's already in Black Panther, man. But okay, but he was great as a kid.
He is a good actor. I mean,
I liked him on The Wire as a kid when he was a young guy. Did you ever see him on The Wire? He was fantastic.
Oh, I never saw that. I first saw him in Friday Night Lights, the TV show.
Oh yeah, and that was a big one.
Yeah, and then he was, and yeah, I mean, Creed, he's great. Black Panther. I said Creed was good after Chadwick Boseman passed away. A buddy of mine and I were talking, and I said I think it'd be cool if they brought him back for Black Panther 2, because you never saw him technically die at the end of Black Panther.
Killmonger, yeah.
And they brought him back. And with their technology, they healed him and they basically kept him as a prisoner. But he's seen the error of his ways, blah blah blah, and they make him the new Black Panther because he's a great actor. He's charismatic.
The errors of his ways. He was actually the most heroic of them all. Like he's the one that saw the hypocrisy in it. He's the one that saw all the shit that was going on with the royal family and all that stuff. And so I thought like he was actually one of the most heroic, and he was the one that was willing to put his ass on the line. So Andy, I've never heard that before. That's brilliant. I think as far as a redemption arc, and he has showed that he's worthy of it, and he's a badass actor. I would like to see that better than Superman.
I would watch that, yeah, because people liked Killmonger genuinely too. I mean, he was the best part of the movie as far as I'm concerned. I think he had the moral high ground until like it wasn't like his thoughts and like his moral barometer was correct. It's just the way he went about doing it. He was very militant, and he was very he was very like finite. But he did have a right to the crown. He did have, all those things were fact. You know what I mean? Yeah.
He fought that guy and he won. You know what I mean? So he, by all their rules, he played by them. It's just that he had a mat on. So if you could get rid of the mat on, if you could get past that and he could learn from it, he could be a great leader because he was willing to clean house. You know what I mean? Like I know the Black Panther that, once his eyes were open to it and everything like that, and they were trying to say that he was more noble, but nobility from what? His father, his father's father, they were all perpetuating a lie. And as far as inclusiveness in that movie, they were not inclusive, man. They could, like, all that stuff in Africa. This movie cracks me up, by the way. Like all that poverty, all the starvation, all the death in Africa. What is their little section called of Africa? The Black Wakanda. Thank you. They could have fixed everything. Africa could have been like the dominant continent in the world. They could have, instead of the United States, they could have ruled supreme. But they never shared it with the people. They never did any of those things. And so at the end of the movie, they opened up, they were like, we're going to share this stuff with the world. But at this point, the rest of the world has all that technology. They're not going to change much of anything. They have Tony Stark, and all that other stuff. So they're not going to change much. So it's a pretty safe bet. But in the past, they could have done, they could have evolved mankind, beyond where we're at, where the Marvel universe was at that point in the story. Yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to say, messaging is what it's become more important than story.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why this J.J. Abrams Superman movie ticked me off. I was just like, oh, it's just all about messaging. It's not about a good story.
And all the window dressing is all about just like scoring, points.
Woke points,
woke points. And And let me just leave this with you guys, and then we're gonna do something. I got a little fun thing with the mirror, because there's a visual of what is her name, Emilia Clarke.
So is it official? Amber Heard's been fired?
I don't know, but I don't want to get into that yet.
Okay.
I'm teasing it. Andy.
Okay.
What I want to do is see what you guys do. You think that this is just the Hollywood promo, just throwing this out there and seeing what people think about it, or do you think that they're actually going to pull the trigger on this casting and try to redefine a contemporary Superman for a contemporary audience?
I don't know. A part of me says it's just DC playing catch up again with going, man, Black Panther just did so well. We've got to get that solo hero movie out there starring a Black character so we can kind of reap those rewards. But that was also 3-4 years ago now. You think they would have pulled that trigger sooner.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know if it will get made. A part of me doesn't think it will get made.
I don't think
honestly. I don't think it's going to get made. I can see another Henry Cavill Superman movie before this gets made.
How about you, Vaughn?
Yeah, I think something's going to happen with production. It won't get made. I don't know what. I mean, J.J. Abrams though, and he's got Ta-Nehisi Coates. It sounds formidable enough. If he wants to make it, I'm sure he can. But I have a feeling like something's going to fall through with the deal. Who knows if Ta-Nehisi Coates will start calling everybody who hired him racist? Who knows? He probably thinks they are, at least.
He'll call out Abrams at some point.
Yeah.
Yep. Drew, thank you so much for the $4.99. Back Monster MD multiple times, and we'll be talking about it on our YouTube channel. If you ever want to do a store exclusive cover, let me know. So Drew with Comics Elite. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Thanks, Drew.
Yeah.
I'll let you know.
Drew's a good guy. Thanks again, Drew, for that. Yeah. I really don't think this is going to happen. I think this is
something feels weird about it.
It feels very soundbitey to me because it also doesn't really get into any context. And most of the context that I've heard is basically people like us, like YouTubers, speculating on what they'll do. It'll be a white couple raising a black baby. Because there's the Kents as well that you have to enter into the equation. So that becomes very uninteresting because it also derails what the point of it was. It's more like a fish out of water. It's not racially motivated, other than like he's an alien. So he's from a different race. So basically, I guess actually saying this out loud, it already exists. That what they're trying to recreate already exists in the story. He's a kid that's trying to fit in because of these super abilities and powers. It's not that he's black. It's not that he's Asian. It's not that he's Hispanic. He's this. So anybody that's been ostracized or anybody who's tried to fit in and didn't, they can relate to these stories. It's not specific one thing. It can apply to anybody that's been in situations like this, or had knowledge but didn't want to share it because they were going to be ostracized, or could help but knew that they were going to take a big risk doing so. Just all these things that Superman and that the story already has in there. And you talk about equality or trying to pay homage to the past and stuff. These were Jewish immigrants that wrote this story. It's basically about their journey. It's about theirs. So if you're trying to rebrand it and try to make it about, the African Americans' journey and stuff like that, well, I think that's really disrespectful to the creators. Right. Because also those analogs, those ideas already exist in the story. It doesn't have to be that specific, like skin color.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Ta-Nehisi Coates will have him land in like a South Side Chicago, you know, and and he'll become Superman to like a poor neighborhood, and then Black Lives Matter and roll credits, you know, like that's what.
Well, do you think like Jonathan and Martha Kent are going to be black, or do you think they're going to be?
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
I think East Coast hates white people.
If they go the full reboot route, not a multiverse type thing, yeah, I just would expect that. Yeah.
Well, I just figured if they were really diversified, they would have like, you know, a white family raise a black kid, you know, and do it as a period piece. So then they have to deal with full-on racism, not this make-believe 21st century, racism, but actual racism, of the past,
Right.
Okay, well, I'm gonna start wrapping it up, but I wanted to leave you guys with this. Let me see if I can find it, because I think it's awesome, and we can talk about maybe somebody in the chat actually knows if what's her name, Amber Turd has been fired or not. Isn't that what they're nicknaming her?
Maybe
she poops in beds. She poops in your bed.
She's a bedwetter.
Bed shitter.
A bed shitter.
Crazy hot chicks.
So I think for a while people were thinking this was official Warner Brothers.
Is that Emily Blunt?
No, it does look like Emily Blunt. No, this is that Emilia Clarke.
Oh, Emilia Clarke, yeah, from Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, yeah. So they have thrown her name out there. I don't know if it's official or not, but some people were thinking this was an official like press release, like movie poster. It turns out it's fan made.
Yeah.
But she does look good,
Yeah, she does. The power of Photoshop. That's awesome.
Yeah. So what do you guys think? Do you think that Amber has been fired? Do you guys have any knowledge on that, or?
I don't know, the specifics on it. I just know that's a very compelling rumor because people wanted that. But at the same time, it's like, well, don't fire her just because she's an asshole or whatever. But like, she apparently is very hard to work with too for a lot of people. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised,
Yeah. So I guess Chris is saying that it's not official, that maybe they're just kind of keeping it chambered and to see how bad, I guess to see how the public feel about all of this stuff once it becomes more public knowledge. And is there another court case that's coming down now or something?
I would assume there's an appeal from Johnny Depp or something. I can't keep up with all of everybody's court cases.
Yeah, I have no idea. But Art, that touches on something you said, is if they're waiting on, what the public perception is. And it's like, that really shouldn't play in it.
Right.
It should just be back to what you said. Is she tough to work with? Is she a pain in the ass on set? Those are to me, if I'm the director, those are the things that I would want to, involve my decision on. Now, if she did something criminal, of course, if you do something criminal and it comes out that way and, in court and all that, yeah, different story.
I would argue there was a brown crime that was committed. But no, I agree. And also, I mean, if there was an actual crime, then she should be behind bars or whatever, infraction,
It just depends on what it is. I mean, look, if she committed some type of crime, but it's not something that's a lockup type crime, but just like pay this fine or whatever, as long as you do what, like with the whole college thing with the two actresses that went up for a few weeks for paying off to get their kids into college, right?
Oh yeah, those two actresses. Yeah.
If the judge says you need to do 7 weeks in jail and this much community service and pay this fine, if they do all that stuff, I wouldn't blackball them from working again because they did all the stuff they were supposed to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now, if you don't do any of it, well, then it's like, well, screw you. You're not doing, you're not paying your penance by the judge. But if it comes out that Amber Heard is, was mean to Johnny Depp And the judge is like, this is all just BS. I'm throwing it out. I don't care. You guys figure it out. Couples fight. You took a dump on his bed, whatever, you know? And if the director is like, I thought she was an angel to work with, well, then it should be up to the director. I mean, she's a good actress. I didn't hate her in the movie. It's not like she sucked in the movie or anything.
Her hairpiece did. That was a crime. That's a red crime right there.
Yeah.
You know, if it's gonna keep people from seeing the movie, they might fire her over that too, though.
Yeah.
Like if people think she's an abuser and hate her and won't go see her movies,
right,
then they might fire her. So that could happen. It depends, you know.
Yeah, and also
they seem so detached from the public, though. They don't understand how we really feel. Their finger way off the pulse.
But I think that's why they put out these press releases, because they don't know, and also they don't trust their own take on things. So let's throw this out there. Let's throw this headline out and see how people react, and then we can take all this information in, and then it's like a social experiment, and then they can see how people feel. Do people really hate Amber? And if so, then maybe we might want to think about a different actress. What if we leak this? Emilia Clarke, what if we leak that? People seem to like her. How do people chime in on that? So it's just this card game that they're playing, and they're just kind of seeing how public how they feel about these things. And when you have a lot of power and you have a lot of money, you can play these games. But I really wish these Hollywood would just double down and just go, let's just make a decision. Let's just go with this is what's going on. This is how we need to be. I think it was Frank Zappa was talking about the music industry, and I love it, is where he said, contemporary music is horrible. The music industry is in a bad place. He said in the past, when rock and stuff first started, it was better. And it was run by a bunch of old guys, cigar chomping guys that had no idea what was happening. But they had enough faith in the people that they were signing and let them do what they did. And they published it. They put it out there, and they let the people decide, is Frank Zappa the next thing? Is Elvis gonna be cool? They didn't know. So they just threw it out there. But they didn't pretend to know. You know what I mean? They weren't we know what's going to sell. But then you smash cut to contemporary, and these guys are now all experts. They know what sells. They know the market. They know this, that, and the other thing. When in reality, no one frickin' knows. You know what I mean? We all, Andy's got his IP, Vaughn has his, I have mine. We just throw it out to the wind. We don't know. You know what I mean? But we have faith in ourselves. We have faith in our IPs. And then we let people decide. That's what we need to get back to. We need people in charge to make these decisions and stop playing it safe and putting out all of this stuff do you guys want a black Superman? We're just being kind of coy about it. Do you want Emilia Clarke? Do you want this person fired from the Mirror role? Is she too problematic? You know what I mean? Just make a decision. You know what I mean?
Have some faith. Have some faith in the artists. Yeah. Because you're not all experts. This is our craft. Roll the dice on us. But at the same time, I get it. It's an investment. They want to make sure they feel comfortable with it,
Right. But at some point, to move us into the next decade or the next 10 years, somebody's going to have to take a chance, because what's going to define this generation? Just a bunch of, haphazard thrown together, nostalgia movies. That's going to be their claim. They're going to claim Ghostbusters, the new Ghostbusters. They're going to claim the new Terminator as theirs. You know what I mean? They don't have anything in music. All across the board, everybody's playing it safe. Everything is kind of a mishmash of everything else. So everybody's playing it safe. But where's the trendsetters? Where's the Elvis Presley? Where are these guys? Where are these guys that are putting stuff out? I can't remember the guy, but this guy, most of the stuff, movies we like, would not have existed if it wasn't for this guy. I can't remember his name, and he was running Fox at the time, and he greenlit Blade
Die
Runner.
Hard.
Blade
Oh.
Runner. No, this
Uh-huh.
this predates like Blade Runner and Star Wars. And
Oh,
so,
nice.
So he said with Star Wars, he said George pitched it to me. He said I had no freaking clue what he was talking about. He said, but
this is a Wookiee, you see.
Yeah, but I believed in him.
Right.
And I believe based on like American Graffiti, this guy's pedigree, everything else, he goes, I believed in him. So I stood by, not the project, I stood behind him. So it was a gamble. It was a major gamble. But just look what he did believe in George, because George didn't just make Star Wars. He recreated how film was made, how it was produced, how all that stuff.
Special effects and
so
sound.
this guy backed the right horse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I do remember the same producer, the Fox executive. I hope somebody maybe in the chat knows. But he also believed in Ridley Scott, and so he stood by the production. He stood behind Ridley Scott. When there was, I don't know if you guys know, but famously there was these other producers that put a bunch of money in and basically were trying to take control of the production from Ridley Scott. And I think the theatrical version of the movie that came out was their version. It wasn't Ridley Scott's version.
Right.
That voiceover, all that narrative stuff.
Yes.
That was them coming in and pulling rank on it. And
because they didn't get it.
Right. And that guy, that producer, Alan Ladd Jr., thank you so much, Wizard.
There you go.
Time Lord. And so if it wasn't for that guy, those productions wouldn't have gone through, and we wouldn't have Star Wars, we would have Blade Runner. And I think both those movies pretty much changed not just the culture, I mean cinematic approaches, but culture as well. Like, look at all the ripple effects of Blade Runner, Billy Idol, like that whole kind of punk, aesthetic, and, that kind of bleached blonde hair and all that stuff. There was a whole aesthetic that came out of that. So the thing is, I think we as creative people have to start making chances. And I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but because we're already doing this stuff, but this is my plea to everybody out there, man, take a chance, create some stuff. Don't base it too much on things of the past. I mean, nostalgia berries, I guess is what they call them. It's okay, to try to tie stuff into it, but still try to create your own voice, put stuff out there and have faith that people are going to, latch on to it, because in the end, Monster MD, First Man, Black and White, Chrono Mechanics, this is all this is moving in that direction, to try to get everybody into thinking or at least embracing new stuff instead of the same old. So Andy, you have a parting shot?
No, not really. It's all good.
Andy,
go check out First Man on Indiegogo. It's in demand. Going to the printer hopefully today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I should be shipping the stuff out in April, like I said. So
yeah, Andy's still a little new at this, so the parting shot pretty much is like plug your book.
And that's what I did.
Yeah, and Andy has a YouTube channel, so go and subscribe. He's got some great videos, him and his partner. So Von Klaus, the great Von Klaus, I think creating shit, you're the dude, man. You're the high bar right here. Look at this. Wait, let me show this.
Oh, that's cool.
This is Heidi, the invisible lady.
There's no nudity, I promise. You can have this in your office.
I love it.
Yeah, you can get this sweet Heidi poster when you get a book. Get a Monster MD. I also have this sweet sketchbook that I put together that shows you how I made this. A lot of cool notes from me and awesome character designs, page to script comparisons, interviews with me, everything. It's badass. It's like over 70 pages, and this is 144.
Wow,
this is a thick beast, a thick mother. But guys, I actually wanted to announce something a little unusual for me. Something kind of crazy. When a big life change for me. Not just shipping Monster MD out, my first published effort. It's when I broke my ribs, my full-time career job that I've been working at for years fired me. People started reaching out to me and saying that they actually think I was kind of semi-canceled or fired for my beliefs because I had posted one thing. They didn't know I was Comicsgate or anything, but they knew I was pro-Trump, and I actually had been harassed by a few people I worked with. And then after I broke my ribs and I told them I couldn't come in, they knew I was hurt and everything. They fired me for not showing up to work, which I was like, what? You guys knew what was going on with me. So people have been reaching out to me from work and saying, who liked me, were saying, I think you got canned for your beliefs. And so that's something I've been kind of dealing with for a little bit, but in a weird way. The timing is interesting. I'm shipping out my first comic. I'm going into this new world, this possible career from this, something that, because I love writing comics more than anything, man. This is what I love to do. Making comics is where it's at. Oh, you get a free bonus crossover comic with every one of these you get. Anyway,
hold it up again. Hold it up again.
So this is the free crossover book everyone's going to get.
Oh, nice.
It's Shinobi Sasquatch versus Monster MD. It's a little glitzy with the with the plastic there, but yeah, this is a Rob Willis cover. Beautiful work. It's a fun little story with the Shinobi Sasquatch running into Monster MD and getting into a fight and having to take on something greater and more evil from there.
One of the questions that a lot of people have been talking about, our CG universe is going to start crossing over, and I would say they already have. Yeah,
yep.
So we have one right here. I have to ask you, but though, before you go any further, is Monster MD still in demand?
It is still in demand.
Okay,
we are open for business.
Order now, and you're going to be. I assume it's going to ship out, with all these other books as well.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
you don't have to wait. You don't have to wait for the book.
Yeah, people started grabbing digital editions that I can just email them right away too. So
yeah. Well, on Chrono, I've been announcing more, and I've had some support, from fellow Comicsgaters. And if you guys, in the chat want to help,
I love Chrono.
The Chrono book is done, and we are shipping out within days of these orders. So there is no wait, which I know is a selling. Well, I'm finding out is a big selling point because we, since I've been announcing this, the orders have gone up again. So this is a good thing. So just know that Monster MD is done, and if you order today, your book's gonna be shipped out pretty soon, I would imagine, because you said you're a third of the way into fulfillment.
Yeah, we've shipped out a lot. Yep, we're getting there, and I want to start getting more out. So we'll see if I can get more people to help. But this is it, guys. Like, I'm in it now. Like, there's no more full-time job stability. I'm a comic book creator, and I'm kind of excited about it, but I'm really actually bummed too that happened. It's really messed with my life at a crucial time, and if they wanted to cancel me for my beliefs, so be it. Then you can't cancel me if I'm making books in my home. So
well, if you're independent, that's the whole thing. If you're independent, you can't be canceled. It's like what we're talking about with Bill Burr. So if you have a place to go, and it sounds like this community is embracing, Monster MD. They love you. So I'm sure it'll work out. And I just want to welcome you to full-time comicdom, man. So so Andy and I have been doing this for a while. So welcome to the Swag world full time.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited, man. This is what I've been wanting to do since I was a kid, and now I have no excuses. Let's get her done. I got to start making more YouTube videos.
You're gonna make some more comics too. Yeah.
Oh man, I've got scripts ready that are gonna blow minds and character designs. I'm so pumped. So
I
look
know
out for it, guys.
Here, but Black and White 2 is coming out, and I may need a video, Von Klaus.
I'm on that with you for sure, man. I love making videos with you.
Because if you guys don't know, that brilliant Chrono Mechanics video was done by Vonster here. So
it's a great video.
The thing with Von Klaus, it's awesome when people get your IP. So I know this is where I'm doting all over you right now, but I just kind of explained a little bit about the concept, and he just got it, man. He just freaking got it.
Such a fun concept.
Ran with Chrono, and I thought it was awesome because people are always, it's like a big machine. They repair it. What is that? It's like you just got to go with it, man. And you did, and I think that a lot of the success is because of that video. So I thank you publicly. And yeah, so go
Thank
back
you.
to the books, you guys. We're going to wrap this up. Andy and I will see you later tonight, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So you want to plug?
Yeah, we'll be on Billy Tucci's channel on YouTube. It's the Brofessionals with Art, myself, Graham Nolan, Aaron Lepresti, Billy, of course. I know he threw some other invites out.
Dan Frega.
Yep. Oh yeah, Dan. Well, if Dan can make it, he is still,
Oh,
he's getting his kidney stone blasted today, I guess.
Yeah.
Piece of glass pulled out of him.
And that'll be at, I think, 9:30 Eastern. So
yeah, it's a little later tonight, and that's going to be on Billy Tucci's channel. So come by, check it out. Awesome. We have been basically, will this be our 4th or 5th week? Maybe 5th. Fifth week.
Because you did it, Graham's done it, I've hosted it, Dan, and now Billy.
Yeah, so this will be
Aaron. So 6th week.
Oh, 6 weeks. So we're 6 weeks into this, and then next week it's going to be on my channel again. So that'll be a full, round the block type thing. And so, did Billy announce what we're going to be talking about tonight? I guess I should.
Yeah, he did in our chat. He said it's it's inspired by the picture you posted of Kirby and Fraga, and it's about when you met your heroes.
Oh, have we met our heroes? So I'm inspired. I didn't even know it.
What's that? Yeah, you inspired it and didn't even know it. Yeah, it's about when we met our heroes. I'm glad he posted that and didn't just bring it up on the spot, because I've been thinking about it, for the past few hours since he posted it, because I've met a lot of people. Yeah, but when specifically, Well,
everybody in the chat is going to know who I'm going to pick, and it's going to be Lou Ferrigno, because Lou is way up here for me. He's
a jerk.
Yeah, go check out my.
He's rude to me too.
Yeah, there's a video all about it. Maybe I'll connect it to this at the end, so you guys can roll right into the Lou Ferrigno story. All right, well, we'll see you later tonight. Andy and I will. Thank you so much, Von Klaus. I'm hoping way more live streams with you, because you're a treat to hang out with. So take care, everybody. Have a good one.